Mother-in-law spied on me and convinced my husband I was cheating with my boss. Now I'm divorcing him. Me, my husband and my mother-in-law, we all live in the same house. I was not always like this. Me and my husband had our own house and lived on our own for years, but last year things went south for us. He lost his job and could not find another for months. The rent was too much to pay from the little savings we had, and eventually we were evicted. So my family was not happy when I married my husband. Thus going to them to ask for help was not really in the option, which left us with only one thing. Going to his mom. His mom lived alone in her nice suburban house. My husband's dad was in MP and passed away on duty, so his mother got all the relief money. He also had a sister who had an arranged marriage set up by his mother and now lives with her husband in Canada. It was really embarrassing for us to go to her for help, because even though she did not particularly hate me or him or our marriage, but she had never been happy about it either. On the call, when my husband explained things to her, she agreed. She said we could live with her and she will also help my husband get a job at her friend's corporate company. We came to live here about a month or so ago. Her house is beautiful and my husband's childhood room was a little uncomfortable for us two to live in, but I was not complaining. It was more than anything we both could afford ourselves. I tried to help around the house at first, and then I started talking to my husband about me starting to work too. That would help us in every way. More money could mean extra savings in a quick time, and that way we could move out soon and not trouble his mother anymore. He liked the idea and asked his mother if could find an appropriate job for me through her circle. Her mother looked rather offended at that, saying, "Why would I, a woman, go out and work?" That sentence of her gave me an ick. She was a misogynist? She seemed like a bold, empowered woman who raised 2 children alone. I thought her to be modern and a supporter of women, as she likes to present herself. She asked me if I needed more money I could simply borrow from her in return when my husband makes it back. I told her it was not just about money, that I wanted to work, to be independent. The thing that happened with us, it was because me and my husband, we both were dependent on him for money. If I had a job, we would not have been evicted. I stated with confidence that she did not have to find me a job. I will do that myself, but she cannot tell me not to work when my husband does need my support. Am I an a-hole for speaking to her like this when she is the only one who agreed to give us a place to stay when we need it? Update 1. So my mother-in-law did not help me in finding a job, but no worries, I did it myself. I went into the town and saw a few opening posters, applied for a few, and I got the job at the town's best bakery. It was Liam's Love, the bakery name. When I came home that day and told everyone about me getting a job, my mother-in-law muttered curses under her breath. I did not care. I was a strong woman and I could put my skills of cooking and baking to a good use by making some money. I started working and everything was going fine. I loved the bakery. Liam was a true master of baking. His recipes were amazing and I was learning new things from him every day. I talked about it all to my husband every night, us sleeping in that barely large enough bed for 2. My husband was happy about it at first. He liked that I found a job and I was liking it too, but after a few weeks he just did not want to hear about it. He started to seem disinterested in my day and even started suggesting I should leave it, that he was finally climbing up the ladder at his job and soon his salary would go double if his mother helps a little. That I can leave the job and live comfortably again. I told him I did not start working only for money, it was for myself too, and that I did not think his mother liked me. A whole day with her in the house is not what I would take over the peaceful hours at the bakery. It was an open-ended discussion we had that night. I could not understand why he would suddenly start to oppose me working. He was fine with it at first. Did his mother get to his head? I just could not guess, but then this happened and I guessed exactly what it was. The other day I was working at the bakery when I saw my mother-in-law in the coffee shop across, sneaking glances at me. She stayed there for hours before going. If that was one thing I would have ignored it, but then it started happening more and more. Every day, she is just somewhere. She thought she was being discreet, but she was not. It was very obvious that she was spying at me. That is what happens when you sit at home and get bored all day. It was so frustrating, and last night when I was leaving from the bakery, even Liam mentioned that it seemed like my mother-in-law was spying on me. That was enough. I went straight to my husband and told him that his mother had gone crazy, that she had been spying on me for days now. He has to talk to her. I told him thinking he would be shocked or angry or confused or something, but he just averted his gaze trying to come up with something to say. He knew his mother was spying on me like I am some criminal, and he did not say anything to her, to me. I asked him what was going on, and before he could make another excuse I guessed it. I asked him if he thinks I was out cheating. He did not say no, and I knew it. I told him he and his mother, both were stupid to even think that. I just work and come back home. He looked angry at that. He started throwing his accusations at me, asking me why am I still working at that Liam's. That guy had been his worst enemy in the high school. He thinks I have an affair with Liam. I told him I do not, I just work with him and that is it. By now we were having a full-fledged screaming argument when his mother came. telling me to lower my voice and not talk to her son like that. The audacity of this misogynistic woman, I started blaming her, that she was the one who put shit into my husband's brain. She started saying it was no shit and that she was sure I'm having an affair with the bakery owner Liam, who is my boss. She had proof of it. I go out with him for coffee twice a day and we both go back into the kitchen at least 3 times, leaving the bakery unattended for 20 minutes straight. She claimed I was fooling her son, playing with his trust. My husband also looked at me like he believed all coming out of this woman's mouth. My mother-in-law then left 2 choices in front of me. I could either give up the job and call quits of my shameful affair with Liam, or I could leave her house and her son for good. I looked at my husband and he just waited for me to make a choice. No support, no sympathy, just waited for me to choose between having a roof or having my self-respect. I chose the latter and left the house. Update 2. After my ex-husband and his mother wrongfully accused me of cheating and kicked me out of the house, I had nowhere to go except my parents. I came to my parents crying. They were mad, but I explained everything to them and told them that they were right about my husband and he turned out to be a piece of crap. My father was so mad he could kill my husband. He asked me what I wanted to do and I told him I wanted to start anew, divorce him and just start a new life. They supported me in that. My dad was a lawyer. He sent my husband divorce papers and he signed them in the matter of days. It was so easy for him to let me go. I took that to note and started the process of moving on. My family has been with me through it all, supported me in all my decisions. My dad even helped me draft a business plan to open my own bakery. Things were finally getting better for me when my loser ex-husband had to show up again. He came to my parents' house one day when I was not there, begging my parents to tell him where I was, that he needed to apologize. He was wrong to judge me and he still loves me and wants me back. My parents called me telling me he was outside the door begging to wait for me. They asked me what to do because it was totally my call and I told them to tell my ex-husband to F off and go cry to his mommy. My daddy said he was proud of me and then told him exactly that. Later, when I invited Liam to come check my bakery menu, he told me that my husband came to him to have a talk about everything, and when he told my ex-husband that Liam already had a girlfriend and kids and just looked at me like a coworker. Liam said he looked so regretful. I just laughed and said he deserved it. Am I an a-hole for that? Me, 22 female, and my boyfriend, 23 male, have been dating for over a year now. He spends every weekend at mine because I have my own place, and because his stepsister, also 22 female, dislikes me to the point where I am not allowed over because of how uncomfortable I make her feel. I don't know what I have done. When asked, she just says that I give her bad vibes and doesn't trust me dating her brother who she is really close with. She can't stand to be in the same room as me, and once had a dream about bashing me. She struggles with mental health issues which I sympathize with, and her brother is a major support which she relies on. I respected the situation even though I was hurt and confused, as she has had a lot of tough life events and doesn't trust new people. But it's been a year and nothing has changed. The entire family tiptoes around the stepsister, and I'm only ever allowed over when she isn't there, even though my relationship has gotten to the point where he has keys to my place and we talk about spending our lives together. I'm never allowed to visit his place. I hardly even know his dog because of his stepsister, even though he has access to every area of my life. His sister has also been dating someone, and her boyfriend is always welcome over and included in family dinners and accepted. It hurts so much as I live alone and don't contact my family and would love that. I've brought up the situation so many times with my partner. He listens and says he understands but doesn't do anything to address the situation. Puts off speaking to her, as all she says is bad vibes and that she won't discuss it. He says he doesn't want to damage his relationship with his sister, as she can get unpredictable and angry. He doesn't seem to get how insulting it all is, and while I understand how tricky struggling with a mental illness can be, and how hard it can be to navigate, especially when it's family, my own family was also really unpredictable. But doesn't excuse being excluded and treated like this. He has said I can spend Christmas with him and his family cause he knows I'll spend it alone, but I declined because I don't feel accepted by his family. He says it would mean a lot to him, but has hardly done anything to address the problem with his sister, and gets so scared of confrontation. I don't feel comfortable going at all. If somebody wants to visit my place and be in my life and meet all the people I care about, it should go both ways. But I don't know what to do. This is the only issue we have and I don't want to break up over this, but I feel gross about the whole thing and I don't even know what I did, and it feels weird that him dating someone causes so much stress to their relationship. Just want to know if anyone else has experienced this or has any advice, and that I'm not an a-hole preferring to spend Christmas on my own. I, male 25, have an older brother, male 30, Kevin. Kevin is married to his wife Rachel, female 30, and they have 2 kids, twins, Joey, male 9, and Chris, male 9. I myself am married and I have a 2-year-old daughter. Me and Kevin used to hang out all the time, and do family days out with our wives and kids. But my wife and I were becoming less and less keen on these get-togethers. Put it simply, Joey and Chris are very badly behaved in public and it's embarrassing and stressful. Kevin and Rachel do nothing to correct the behavior, they're usually stuck to their phones instead. Not only is it embarrassing, but my wife and I didn't want our daughter to copy the behavior or think that it's an okay way to act. The last time we hung out with Kevin and his family was 3 weeks ago. We went to a family restaurant for dinner and the entire time Joey and Chris were misbehaving. They wouldn't stay in their seats and kept running around, throwing trash on other customers' tables and just getting under people's feet. Chris threw a tantrum because Rachel didn't let him drink Pepsi and he flopped around the floor screaming. Rachel and Kevin ignored him and didn't think to take him outside. Eventually we were asked to leave because another customer complained about us, because during Chris's tantrum, Joey went and stuck stickers on a stranger's baby's face. Kevin went on a rant about how his kids' behavior was the restaurant's fault because they had nothing to keep them entertained. After that evening my wife and I were so embarrassed and decided no more days out with Kevin and Rachel for the near future. The other day, Kevin texted me and asked if we wanted to go to a children's park all together sometime. I tried to phrase it as politely as I could, and told Kevin that after the incident at the restaurant, my wife and I decided it was better that we didn't do days out like that for a while, and that we felt very embarrassed. Kevin didn't take this well, and said we are parent shaming. He said that we are being self-centered and not thinking of how difficult it must be for him and Rachel. He said I'm being a bad brother and that I should be ashamed. Was I the a-hole here?